For parents and teenagers alike, this is a particularly concerning time in their academic career as all of the exams have been cancelled. So whether they were doing IGCSEs, GCSEs, EPQs, Advanced Extension Award, A-levels, all of them have been cancelled. So where does that leave your child? Well, in this video, we're going to look at what you can do to empower your child in creating the future that they want. So the first thing to understand is that the government have declared that they do not want to hinder the progression of any young person. So what that means is that secondary school students will be able to progress onto sixth form or college. Those doing the A-levels will be able to continue their studies at university. So how are their exams going to be created? Well, the government have worked with the exam boards who have been asked to work closely with the exam centres so that the teachers and head of departments can create a grade that they feel truly reflects the abilities of each student and a grade that they would have expected them to have achieved had they sat the exams in the summer. So again, where are these marks coming from? How are they being created? So the teachers and head of departments have been asked to look at classwork, homework, in-house assessments, the mock exams, and the predicted grade that each student would have been given at the start of year 10. Now, for most pupils and parents, this is absolutely fine if their child has consistently done well, their mocks were what they were hoped to achieve, their predicted grade is where they expect, and so they have everything they need to progress onto the next level. However, for some pupils, actually, they may have passed the mocks, they may have a grade that is sufficient to get to the next level, but actually they feel that they would have achieved a much higher grade. And then there are other students who actually perhaps for whatever reason didn't do so well in the mock exam. And perhaps their predicted grade is lower than what they would have hoped to achieve at the end of their 2-year studies. As a private tutor, I work with students who fall into all of those categories. One of my students actually achieved a grade 3 in their mocks, and their predicted grade is just a mere pass out of 4, and this is for English. And they were hoping that with intense study that they would have surpassed those grades. And in actuality, in a recent exam that they sat, they actually got a grade 6. However, because English is their weakest subject, they're afraid that because of the previous marks, the mocks, that actually it won't tally up to the grade that they would have expected and hoped for in the summer. So what do you do in that case? Well, the first thing to do is to understand that the teachers are going to use all of that information and then rank each student. So they're being asked to rank each student from the highest to the lowest, and then to rank them within each category. So for example, if a student is expected to get a grade 4, they then have to, and there's 10 students who they expect to get a grade 4, they have to put them in a hierarchy. So from those who are at the lower end of that band, those who are secure, in the middle, and those who are at the top end of that band, who are perhaps borderline to a grade 5. Now, the teachers are not allowed to divulge where each student is in the rankings, no matter how much parents and pupils protest. And that makes sense, right? If you got a grade 4, would you really want to know that you were a weak grade 4? So no matter how much you ask, they're not going to give that information away. Now, with that in mind then, we still have a lot of weeks left in the summer term. Now, the official deadline in which teachers have been asked to submit the grades, the earliest in which they can do it, is the 29th of May. So we still have a month or more than that of work that can be submitted to teachers. Now, the exam boards have asked that teachers do not focus solely or heavily on anything submitted after the 23rd of March, when all the schools were officially on closure. And the reason for that is because some pupils may actually perform weaker than what they were doing so, and that could be because of anxiety, because of distractions at home. Some pupils actually may do better because they're getting extra help, extra support. However, having said that, it's still really important that your child continues their studies. And why is that? Well, law of recency states that the most recent information a person receives will impact their judgment. So if your child is continuing doing the work and submitting that to the teacher, it is going to have an effect. It's going to play a role in their marking. And so if your child can consistently show, actually, this is the work I'm putting in, I'm consistently getting this kind of grade, then how can a teacher ignore that? Equally, if you have a portfolio of work, if the grade you achieve isn't the one that you hoped for, you can then appeal it. And all the information about how to do that will be in a resource sheet under this video. Now, on top of that, why is it important for your child to continue studying? Well, to prepare them for their A-levels or to prepare them for BTEC and for the next part of their studies. Equally, if they're going on to do an apprenticeship or to go to work, it's still imperative that they have the basic information and the skills that each subject gives to your child. So it's great to keep that up for as long as possible. Now, there are also opportunities to resit the exams, and that's another reason to continue studying. So there will be an opportunity to resit the core subjects, so maths, English and science, in the autumn of 2020. For all the other subjects, it's likely that they will have to be resat in the summer of 2021. However, the exam boards are looking to try and create more opportunities this autumn to sit more exams and potentially January next year as well. But as it stands, there are opportunities to resit the core subjects autumn 2020 and the rest of the subjects in the summer of 2021. So even if the grade that you're given that's been created isn't where you hoped it to be, then your child can resit the exams and it will not go against them in terms of sixth forms, colleges or university applications. So again, continuing studying will keep the information fresh in their mind in case they have to do that. Now, it's worth pointing out that if you are a private student who has been home educated, if you have links to an exam centre and have given them work, then you will be able to have a grade created for you as well because they have seen work from your child. However, unfortunately, if you have been solely home educated and have no links to any exam centre, then you will have to resit the exams in autumn and the summer of 2021 because there's no way of verifying the work and the level that your child is at. So what's really important then to take away from this is that not to panic. There are many opportunities that you can empower your child in their studies. So the first thing to recognise is that they're going to take in consideration a variety of factors to formulate this grade and that you still have some power by continuing the work. The second thing to note is you can appeal it if you are unhappy. And then finally, there are opportunities to resit the exam without any detriment to going on to further study.